Jetzt hat man beten, Zalman Jaffe von Manchester, was hat eine Sache gehabt, meistens von einem Rebbe soll gesund sein, Sachbrief, Sepurim, verschiedene Sachen soll aufkommen, sagen ein paar Wörter, Zalman Jaffe.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Harlick, for giving me this opportunity to say a few words. If you would have told me a few weeks ago, I could have prepared something very good. I could have read something from my books and we would have had a good time. Unfortunately, I have not prepared. All I will say, people have asked me, how do I come to Lubavitch? I don't look like a Lubavitcher. I don't look even like a Baal Teshuvah. But I can tell you that my maternal grandparents were actually Lubavitcher in the town of Rakeshik. They had three daughters, my mother, Allah Shalom, Hindi Malki the eldest, and one called Rachel. Hindi Malki became engaged to Rabbi Rain, and the marriage was arranged for quite a few months onwards. When the Rebbe at that time, the Rashab, said, you must get married immediately, next week. Well, the order was an order, they got married, and after the wedding, unfortunately, my grandfather, Rebbe Shnas Zalman, Edelman, passed away. Then there were two girls left with my grandmother. They immigrated, they came to England and to Manchester. Now, in brief, Rabbi, in Manchester, when I was a boy, there was very little I knew about Lubavitch. Lubavitch in Manchester was just a mystery. I attended a Lubavitch shul, which we davened Nusach Hari. When it came Purim, we clapped Haman. Simchas Teri, we danced with the Sefer Teri and became merry. Yutas Kislev was a yontif when a certain Alter Rebbe, whom we didn't know very much about, had been released from jail. And that is the sum total of what we in Manchester in those days knew about Lubavitch. There were a few people. There was Rabbi Rivkin, Zachen Levrocha, Rabbi Dubov, Reverend Nemtsov, and Uncle Shmuel. These four people who had attended Lubavitch Yeshiva in Russia, they were the stalwarts. They knew all about Lubavitch, but they kept it a very well-kept secret, and they did not anybody know about this matter. In due course, the shul wished, now that was the days now, we've moved along now, and our Rebbe, Schlitter, was now the Rebbe. And we decided that we would send Uncle Shmuel, Oliver Sholem, to New York to represent us as our shaliach and have a personal touch with the Rebbe. Unfortunately, he had a bad heart, and the journey in those days took 5 days to travel. There's no aeroplanes. And the Rebbe sent a reply, stay at home, you're not well, machshavik amaisa, we'll take it as granted, and we'll all keep good friends. And that was that. Then, suddenly, Rabbi Shem Tov, Oliver Son, that good, devoted soldier of the Rebbe, arrives on the scene. Actually, it was only a few years previously that we collected money to bring him out of Russia. And I can tell you it was money well spent. We never spent money on such a good cause ever. He came here and he projected a very different idea of Lubavitch. He said, all of us had our Rebbe in Crown Heights in Brooklyn, and we should all of us must write to him directly ourselves. We didn't need any Uncle Shmuel or any intermediary or agent. if he could not write in Yiddish, write in English, or in Russian, or Italian, and the Rebbe would reply. Well, I was persuaded to make my first contact with the Rebbe, and I wrote him a letter in English. And lo and behold, in due course, I received a reply, also in English. And that was the start of a very long correspondence course leading to today, when, thank God, I write to the Rebbe every Friday, wherever I am, every single week. And the Rebbe, I was wondering whether I should bother the Rebbe, such a long letter, two pages like this every week, whether the Rebbe would throw it to the dustbin. But I was told that the Rebbe enjoys my letters. And here's an example. This week, I sent a letter on Friday, Erev Shabbos, to the Rebbe about a certain matter which he wanted to know, a question. And a few hours later, in Shul, Label Groner gave me an answer from the Rebbe. And the Rebbe remarked that he'd read all the 2 pages and he could not find a satisfactory answer to the question he had asked me. And that was a reply. Now then, 30 years ago, I decided that I should come to New York to see the Rebbe and take a holiday. We came by steamer, by boat, to New York, and then we saw the Rebbe here, and we arranged a Yechidus. So I asked, what time is the Yechidus? And Rabbi Hakhel said, Chatzos. I thought he meant Chatzos midday, 12 o'clock. He said, no, 12 o'clock midnight. I never heard of such things in England. We have at a conference 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Anyway, I was persuaded that it was a very early time. And Rabbi Shem Tov was my sponsor. He says, now look, Zalman, you're going to see the Rebbe. You've got to be very, very careful now. He might want to shake your hand. On no consideration must you shake hands with the Rebbe. He might ask you to sit down. On no condition. Impossible. And don't forget, when you leave the room, always never turn your back to the Rebbe either. Right? We waited till 1 o'clock, and there was lots of people waiting for your kiddies. Right, Zalman, in you go with Rosalind, right? Go there, and we met the Rebbe for the first time privately, because the Rebbe, as you may know, has very different, figuratively, faces. He could be very stern, and it's a davening, and it's a bringing, he's very happy and delighted, and Yechidus is very, very much a holy person. And you can see a very saintly person. At that time, I remember saying he was a middle-aged rabbi with a black beard, with a few grey specks. But the twinkle in his blue eyes is still the same today as it was then. The Rebbe came forward to us with a beaming, welcoming smile, and we want to shake my hand. I said, oh, no, 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 no. I said, Rabbi Shem Tov said I must not shake hands with the Rebbe. So he says, shh, we won't tell Rabbi Shem Tov. And so I can see the Rebbe had a good sense of humor. He said, sit down. Oh, good gracious, sit down. I said, Rabbi Shem Tov also told me I must not sit down. So he said, well, the first 3 times that you are in America visiting the Rebbe, you can sit down. After that, you can stand up. But the first 3 times, you were my guest, sit down. So I sat down. And I was with the Rebbe then for 2 hours. And we were going down to Miami, and the Rebbe said that on the way back home, I want to see you again, which we did, and we spent another 2 hours. That time, it was also, as Rabbi Fogelman said, we davened upstairs in the base of Medrash, little place. We had a Farbrengen on Shabbos. in between the two buildings, a very small place, a couple of hundred people. But the big affair was Yud Shvat. That was the time I came. It was in a large hall, a few blocks away from here. I've forgotten the name because I wasn't prepared. But there were 500 men and boys at that Verbringen. And behind the Mechitze, there were 5 women. Can you imagine that? There was including my wife and the Rebbe's and Hakhel, the Rebbe's mother, Rebbe Shon. And the Rebbe told me to sit on the back of him, as it is today. All Rabbanim, no boys running about all the place, they're all older men. I said, no, I want to sit facing the Rebbe. And since then, Baruch Hashem, it's been a bit difficult latterly, a bit pressurized. The Rabbanim are growing bigger in stature, and I've got a very, sometimes, troubled time to sit where I am sitting. Anyway, I tried to sit facing the Rebbe, which I do. Now then, a year, tell me when I don't know. Now, the following year, another thing, I asked the Rebbe about Avram, my son. He'd finished his secular education, and I wanted him to study in Lubavitch. I asked the Rebbe, will you accept Avram? He said, with open arms, just like that. Very good. So, Rebbe Shentov was always at my side, advising me what to do. And we waited. Then we get a letter from the office here, the management of the yeshiva, saying they want to know Ebeken lernen, wo lernt, was gelernt, wenn lernen, and blah, blah, blah. We sent him the particulars, and sent a letter back. We are very sorry. We'd like your boy to attend the Manchester Yeshiva, which was, of course, not the Lubavitch, the Snagid Yeshiva, and he can attend there, and in 2 years' time, let him come here. Well, you can imagine how I felt with all my propaganda about the Shuvas and learning and Rabbanim and my own son, he wouldn't take. So I wrote another letter to the Rebbe, and another letter. I'm not telling you how strong the letters were, but they were pretty tough. And in due course, then Rebbe said, so don't worry, Zalman, I'll smuggle him in. I said, don't say smuggling. I want things straightforward. I want he goes there to be legally accepted by the management. And in due course, just before Rosh Hashanah, we got permission from the yeshiva that would take him. Now then, that year, the following year, during the end of the year, Yud Shvat time, we now had a son in the Lubavitch here. So of course, the Mama hat gewählt seinen Sohn, and we took along Hindi, my daughter, and we traveled the same way, the same holiday, back here to New York. We went down to Miami, and we booked into a lovely hotel. We're just having dinner, the telephone. Hello, who's that? It was Rabbi Shentov. Zalman, I'm surprised. Tonight is the 5th Lichtel of Hanukkah, and you take your boy away and take him thousands of miles to Miami. He must be here to collect the Hanukkah geld, the dollar, the silver dollar himself. And I don't care, whatever you say, he's got to come. It was the end of the year, and it was very hard to get a plane at that time. And I said, look, I'll do my best. You tell me what to do, I'll do. And I tried here, then, everywhere. At last, I got one seat on one plane, which arrived here about 9 o'clock in the evening, just in time to collect the silver dollar. He'd wait till the next morning and come back. Finished, good. Come on, Avram, I'm doing it quick. Get that done. Minute in, noch a telephone call. Who's that? Rabbi Chadekov. Oh, says, the Rebbe has heard that Avram intends to come to New York to collect Hanukkah geld. He considers it very wrong thing to spend money on wheels. And if Avram will give Rabbi Chadekov power of attorney, then the Rebbe will give to Rabbi Chadekov the silver dollar, and Rabbi Chadekov will give it to Avram. Very good. I said, what about Hindi, my daughter? well, that's the Rebbe. And he goes off. He rings back. He spoke to the Rebbe, and he'll give her, if you give him power of attorney, then he'll also get a silver dollar for Hindi. And $1 silver if I give a power of attorney to him for me and my wife. And he says, we get power of attorney, use my vote, and we got the silver dollars. Do you want more? Is it time to stop? Okay. Well, when you tell me to stop, I'll stop. I can carry on. But, now, the next experience of Lubavitch was during the course of the year. We were offered a charter flight to America for £35, return including food, all meals, everything, for £35. I'm not going to tell you the whole story about that. That's a story on its own. I can go on for hours and hours about the trials and tribulations and the problems and the travel we had on the plane. And anyway, that is a story on its own. But ultimately we got here, and the Lubavitch business. What's the main Lubavitch business after the Rebbe Shlitter? Shidduchim. And my son Avram, he's got a sister, he wants to arrange a shidduch. I don't know whether Shmuel mind me talking about this. You don't mind. So we went to a, well, my wife said now she's too young, she's only 19, we don't want to talk about shidduchim now. But Avram said he's a very nice boy, the best learned boy, and my wife said, I'm not interested. We'll talk next year. So what we did, we sent Hindi to the camp in Detroit, which is 2,000 miles away, and there she met Shmuel's sister, of all the people to meet. However, we did meet Shmuel at a Camp Gan Yisrael. Well, he pointed out Shmuel, a young kid, sleeveless shirt, no tie, untidy. Didn't impress me very much, nor my wife. But he seen that Avram and Rabbi Shem Tov were very, very much impressed, and they were whispering and conspiring for days, and I didn't even know what was going on at the back of my back. And then on the one for bringing on Saturday night, I think it's Shabbos night, the Rebbe gave me a whole plate of cake, very nice cake. I heard afterwards that meant the good should be to know him, but I didn't know at the time. And then my wife says, all right, Shmuel can come and meet my daughter. We'll invite him for Shabbos dinner, Friday night, we're staying at Mengel Shentov's. Good. The last minute my wife says, well, we're leaving on Tuesday, and it says Friday, Saturday, too dangerous, not that meeting. So they met on Saturday night, and on Sunday we had a formal meeting with a chassan. And, well, he's very clever, very persuasive. He said I bought my daughter very nicely, and and so on. But my wife was fighting a rear guard battle all the time. And she says, no, they can write to each other, do what they want. And at the last, we were leaving for home, and the Rebbe decided that all the 118 passengers on this flight could see him personally for 1 minute, a Yechidus. Well, each a minute, of course, the plane was delayed 3 hours. But nevertheless, during the course of that Yechidus, Rabbi Shentov came in with a bottle and said, Mazel Tov. I said, what's it all about? He said, your daughter is a Kali. And that's how the Lubavitch works. Well, after that we went to the Rebbe to Masada Kedushin, which he refused, but in due course he accepted. And Baruch Hashem, the Rebbe was Masada Kedushin for Shmuel and Hindi, and he's been a very good worker, as I told the Rebbe that Shmuel would be, for Lubavitch, and the Rebbe has much nachas from him. I think that'll do for the time being, I think. You got more? Anyway.